Nathan coming at you from the hills of Malibu, California, and this is the 2019 Honda Civic Sport. The Sport is a new package for the hatchback and the sedan, and it's got lots of new goodies. And coming up next, we're going to tell you all about them, and we're going to drive around these hills. Okay, so they basically refreshed the model, and this is what they've done. Remember, there used to be a big chrome strip here? That was something I wasn't very fond of. Well, they got rid of it. So on most of the Honda Civics, you now have this type of grille. There's a little bit difference here with the Sport because they have a little bit more gloss going on, but for the most part, all black all the way around, and chrome, or in this case blacked out chrome, over here at the fog lights. So they've changed the shape and they've widened a few things out to make it look a little bit more grounded. But there's no change in aerodynamics or anything else. And they've also changed the location of their forward sensing system as well. But once again, no major changes. This is just cosmetic. The Sports package is about a $1,700 package on top of the LX package, but what you get with that is a little bit more performance when it comes to handling. They've managed to beef up the suspension, make thicker sway bars, and change the overall characteristics of the vehicle when handling, and they offer these 18-inch wheels, which look like the Civic SI wheels. It's not too loud in here. They've actually made it a little quieter, so not quite as noisy as it was before. Now let's say you really wanted the Civic SI and you couldn't afford it. This would be your next choice. It is not as fast. No, it doesn't have the turbocharged engine. In fact, this puts out 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque. It's a naturally aspirated 2-liter engine. But it does have the option for the 6-speed manual transmission, which in my book is one of the best shifting manual transmissions you can get in a car in this class. I think maybe the Mazda 3 is better, but that's a really limited gate. You can only get that in a couple, like literally one trim. No, with this you actually get a lot of stuff going on. You've got the dampened suspension, which works much better than the regular LX suspension. You actually get a better ratio for turning. You get really good feel, by the way. Everything about this car in terms of cornering is really good, and at the same time surprisingly soft. Around corners it does wallow a little tiny bit if it's really pushed hard, but you got to be an idiot like me before you really feel it. On the other side, in terms of regular ride, it's not too bad. It's definitely not a tin box, but you still hear things like this. Hear that? Or this. Yep. So you do hear things. You do feel them, but it's well dampened. It's not quite up there at the Mazda 3's level, but it is damn close. And this is a much more comfortable car. The interior, front and back, is much larger and much more roomy for shoulder room and leg room and all that. You don't feel quite as condensed. It's not as claustrophobic. But in terms of what Mazda has done versus what Honda has done, my two favorites in the class, I will give Honda a lot of credit with the Sport. For $1,700, you get a decent handling package, you get a really decent looking front end, you get that cool looking exhaust in the back, and at the same time you get that manual transmission as an option. Love it. Honda is a trippy company. They build jets, they build boats, they build motorcycles, they build like frickin' everything. You know what else they build? A lot of different types of Civics. They have a sedan. This is the sedan. I know it looks like a hatchback, right? They also have a hatchback, and they have a coupe. In fact, they're the only ones that have that type of combination. Now, here's the cool part. This roofline does look like a hatchback, but to me, it gives you a lot of something very important. Legroom. Check it out. I'm sitting behind myself. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. Headroom's not too bad either, even though the roof kind of crops backward. It is a lot more comfortable back here than it is in some of the competition, including the Mazda 3. Speaking of competition, first of all, the car is not dead, not by a long shot. Look, Honda managed to sell over 1 million of the Generation 10. This is the 10th generation. So it's selling. Since its early days in the United States, 11 million sold. Now, In terms of competition, obviously the Toyota Corolla right up there with it. Head to head, they fight. But on top of that, you also have vehicles like the Hyundai Elantra, which is an excellent car, but also the Mazda 3, which is one of my favorites in the class. I will say this is a close competitor. Now there are a couple things I wish they would have done with the Sport package. I wish they would have given you a standard sunroof, and I wish they would have given you standard navigation, neither of which obviously are available. But they do give you this really cool cluster here where they made the instrumentation red, and I like that. It's kind of sporty and kind of cool at the same time. The interior has been upgraded a little bit. There are a couple trims that have kind of gone up a little bit in quality. The overall feel is good. It's not quite up there with Mazda, but it is definitely up there above some of the other competitors. Over the long term, one of the things I've noticed about Hondas is that their interiors tend to wear well, their seats tend to be comfortable over a long term. A little firm for some people, but they remain that way. They don't get loose and nasty. I like that. So there's something to think about with the interior and the overall setup of a vehicle like a Honda, and that is, you know what you're getting, right? And at the same time, it stays good. The whole car does, not just the interior, the whole damn thing. They're known for being reliable. They're known for being a long-lasting thing. You can drive the wheels off it, put hundreds of thousands of miles on them and all that. And having a comfortable place to do it from, well, that's a bonus. One important note is the fact that Honda Sensing, which is their safety suite, which covers a whole bunch of stuff, is now standard across the board on all Civics. Honda Sensing includes collision mitigation braking system, adaptive cruise control with low-speed follow, lane keeping assist system, and road departure mitigation, and on top of that, standard automatic high beams. Alright, fuel economy, well, it's quite good on this vehicle. Averages out to 29 miles per gallon city, 37 highway, 32 combined. Variety is the spice of life, and it really is that way with the Honda Civic because you have several different models to choose from. Not just the sedan, not just the coupe, and obviously hatchback, but you have everything starting with the LX, you have the touring, you have the sport, a ton of models. But you know what else you have? You have the SI, and you have this, the R. Now, we're not driving this today because there's no major differences, and as much as I really want to throw it around corners, yeah, not a lot of changes, so that's why we're not doing it. But here's the good news. If you get the Sport, you still get a pretty good handling car. Honda cites a lot of statistics when it comes to this car. They talk about the youth market and the fact that first-time buyers love Honda Civics. They talk about the fact that millennials and Generation Z and all these other guys love the Honda Civic. I can tell you this, there are other cars that you can get for the same money that are either faster, more powerful, or even more frugal. However, they're not a Honda Civic. And for those of you who are Honda Civic fans, you guys are not going to give it up. You're going to want to buy this car. And that's because you know about its quality, you know about its reliability, and you know about its excellent handling. And it has all three of those. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. What a beautiful place to do it, right? For the Fast Lane Car, this is Nathan. Don't forget to go back to TFL Car for more news, views, and real-world reviews. I'll see you next time. I get a lot of hate for talking about the R's, styling, but Lamborghinis have less wings. Look, I love the performance, this thing is an animal, but seriously, did those things really make much of a difference, or is that necessary? Come on.